I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
July 20th, 1969. Over 600,000 troops were waging war in Vietnam. The New York Mets were on their way to winning the World Series. Rock and roll's greatest band was recording its last album. And Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were changing the course of human history.
The Eagle has landed.
Everyone that I've spoken to can remember where they were at that exact moment. And I think that's an incredibly beautiful thing, that human accomplishment brought the entire world together for those few moments.
We were supposed to pick up our mother from work, and she worked at a department store. And we picked her up and went to the television department. Now that is incredible. Of course, all the banks of television, all of them turned to that. And everyone stopped shopping. All the people stopped selling. Everything was in sort of suspended animation.
I found myself, when the landing took place, absolutely speechless. And the only time I think in my life that I was so overwhelmed, overawed, that all I could say is, oh boy, I think. Something of the kind. Golly gee whiz, or some notable quote of that kind.
I just remember that it was the biggest thing ever. The most important thing that had ever happened in the world.
I was sitting on my mom's floor in the living room. I had the model kits from Aurora or Revell. In my own head, I probably made 6,000 landings that same day. Right there on the braided rug that my mom had in her front room, there was a low circular coffee table that had these kind of like umbrella legs that came up from underneath her, and I was underneath there all day long, waiting for it to happen.
My mother had said something to me that, what if he gets off the spacecraft and explodes? And since it was live TV, she didn't want her kids exposed to somebody exploding.
As well as feeling amazed by his being up there on the moon, I also felt a certain sadness over the loss of the mythology. The moon had always been this symbol more than a reality. Somehow when we put our foot on it, and it was solid ground, it suddenly became rock, as opposed to the moon.
It wasn't like, oh, this is something America's doing. It was just, that's a human being on the moon. This is something, we're all involved in this.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
The Apollo missions. A triumph of human courage, ingenuity, and spirit.
Retro. Go. Vital. Go. Guidance. Go. Patrol. Go. Telcom. Go.
The genius and sweat of over 400,000 Americans, fulfilling the dream of John F. Kennedy.
This has got to be one of the most proud moments of my life, I guarantee you.
Lift off and the clock has started.
From 1961 to 1972, 24 men journeyed to the moon. 12 of them walked on it. Blasting into the heavens, these voyagers witnessed incredible beauty, experienced ultimate thrills, and faced life-threatening danger.
Houston, we've had a problem.
It's impossible to do. I don't think people understand how hard it is to go to the moon, how many steps are involved, that you have to build a rocket. You have to build a suit. How do you land it? What do you eat? How do you eat? Where do you breathe? Well, all of this, it's crazy. And they did it.
Tom Hanks, Imagine Entertainment, and HBO recreate the little-known true stories of mankind's greatest adventure in the dramatic miniseries Event, From the Earth to the Moon.